Greatest way we can increase the electoral participation is, one, creating a 2-week section of the year that you can actually vote. A second part of that is actually creating a holiday that you can vote. In other words, having a holiday for primaries and or general elections. I think the greatest and most important way is that you actually offer some kind of tax break to people who are voting. Say you get a receipt from when you're voting and you can get $15 back on dollar for dollar on your tax return. That's a great way to do it, but the best and the most important way to do it is actually have policies that help the working and the middle class people of my district, because that's not what's happening now. Tax policies geared for the higher end of people, not for the lower end of people. The unfair portion of taxes being paid right now are by the working classes and the middle class. Make politics work for them. One way to do that is actually enact the stock transfer tax. Right now in New York City, if you bought a sandwich, you're paying a higher amount of tax than you would on a stock buy or a stock sell. Basically, you're paying 9.25% on a sandwich or a cup of coffee. You're paying 0. New York State collects taxes at about $16 billion a year from every stock that transfers in the state of New York. They refund that automatically to the stockbrokers, the mutual fund houses, so on and so forth. If we were to take that back and make it more responsive, one way why people would get more involved in voting: we'd have enough money for single-payer health care, we'd have enough money for what's called guaranteed income, we'd have enough money for education till at least your second year of college, and we have enough money to create affordable housing. If you produce policies that are perfect for the electoral body, they will come to vote. I'm going to go back to the tax issue. The idea that taxes are laden towards the working and middle classes is absolutely true. Right now, what you're paying in property taxes and sales taxes outweigh what the rich are paying. So a stock transfer tax at 2% of every stock sale. Stock sales could be anywhere from $1,000 a share to $5 a share. But taxing that at 2%, that would enable people to have that kind of dexterity, that economic dexterity that allows people to move up the ladder. Once again, $16 billion a year at 0.5% right now that we're collecting. If we were to do that at 2%, that's $48 to $62 billion depending on the year. That can fund, like I said before, and I will say it again, free education till your second year of college, new housing programs across the state, education for people going to 2 years of college, not only 2 years of college, but trade school, but also single-payer health care, which, as you know, is an imperative because Obamacare, that's the American Care Act, that's great, but it's actually failing. So what we need to do is, on a state level, do it that way. And that stock transfer tax, Hillary Clinton's going to do it. She's going to enact that. New York has to get on that and start taking that money and not rebating it. So when you talk about the idea of a stock transfer tax, when you talk about taxing people fairly, at the top end, they pay nothing. At the working class end, whether it's across the counter for a sandwich, a cup of coffee, or whether it's in your property taxes, it's unfair.